Recording in progress.
Right. Lamai, yesterday I discussed four main budget concepts, budget balances, right? Four different types of budget balances. First one, Lamai, current account balance. Second one, overall budget balance. Third one, primary account balance, which is considered as really important point in government's fiscal management, right? And last one, what I'm going to discuss, I'm going to start today's sessions with net cash deficit, right? Net cash deficit. Okay, these are the I have shown you main equations for calculating current account balance, overall balance, and primary balance. Right? Current account balance, when calculating current account balance, we deduct all recurrent expenditures of government. Recurrent expenditures mean my day-to-day expenses, reoccurring reoccurring, right? So the recurrent expenditures mainly consists of three parts, right? Mainly three components there. Recurrent expenditures. First one, expenses on goods and services. Second one, interest payment. Third one, transfers and transfer payments and subsidies. Okay, Dalamai. Then overall budget balance. When calculating overall budget balance, Lamai, we take the total receipts, not the revenue, right? Total receipts can be calculated, Lamai, receipt plus government grants, foreign grants. It means assistance, Lamai, from other countries. Minus total expenditures, Lamai. Total expenditures mean mainly there are three expenditures, Lamai, government expenditures: recurrent expenditures, capital expenditures, and net lending. Okay, the Lamai. Primary account balance is really important, right? I took more time to explain this primary balance yesterday. Primary balance, if you see primary balance, right? If you look at annual report very carefully, Lamai, right? If you can see primary balance, primary surplus, positive balance, Lama, it means the new government or the present government is in the right track, right? The new step or right step towards right direction, Lama, right? So this is considered as a turning point, Lama, especially for developing countries. Primary account balance. What does it mean? My primary account balance calculates my budget situation, right? Government budget situation uh, without interest burden, right? Without interest payment, because this interest payment is not the result of policies of the new government, right? These are inherent, burden of interest from previous governments, right? If you want to measure actual performance of new government, right, or the present government, Buddha, we have to avoid, right, or we have to ignore this interest part, right? It doesn't mean that this government does not have to pay this interest. No, 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 they have to pay. But if you want to measure, right, evaluate actual performance of the present government, this is a good system, Lamai, good method, primary account balance. Okay, so primary account balance is calculated total receipts, same, total receipts minus total expenditures, Tamai Lamai, but without total expenditures includes interest payments are included in recurrent expense, recurrent second category, right? So primary account balance is calculated by removing interest. Okay, then Lamai, net cash deficit. Putana, remember, net cash deficit is not an economic concept, right? So in your syllabus, Lamai, I'm not going to discuss this part in detail, right? Because that is not an economic concept. That is a concept in public accounting, right? There's a separate subject called public accounting, right? So But anyway, you should have very small idea, right, about cash deficit. The cash deficit, net cash deficit is calculated total receipt, same idea, total receipt, total receipt minus payments or expenditure, total expenditure excluding, here am I excluding only interest payment, here excluding repayment of debt, excluding repayment of debt, excluding repayment of debt, right? Lamai, when paying a loan or loan installment, you might have learned in accounting, Lamai, there are two components, right? That is called debt servicing payment, right? Debt servicing payment. Debt servicing payments. Debt servicing debt servicing payments, Lamai, includes two concepts. Number one, Lamai, capital amount, capital plus interest, Lamai, right? This is called amortization part as well. Example, Lamai, assume someone can say, businessman says, Buddha, this month, my loan installment, right? I have taken a loan from People's Bank. Loan installment for this month is 100,000. I have to pay 100,000. That is called debt servicing payment, right? Or we can say loan installment, right? Loan installment, that 100,000 consists of two main parts, Number one, capital part, right? Or that is called amortization part, right? Other one is interest part now. Other one is interest part. Remember, every loan installments includes these two components. At the beginning, Lamai, right? At the beginning, soon after you take the loan, you have to pay installment. Assume put up per first installment, right? Assume you have taken 10 million loan, 10 million loan, monthly interest payment is 50, sorry, annual interest rate payment is rate is 15%, time period, right? It's mean the loan time period, assume put 5 years, right? 5 years mean put 5 years into 12 mean total installment should be 60. Total installment should be 60, right? The pressed installment, Lamai, right? The pressed installment that you have to pay includes more interest, Lamai. Includes more interest because the banks, they try to cover up that interest part first, right? So very trust installment, right? We can say at the beginning, Lamai, they get interest first. They get interest first. So if you consider first installment, Lamai, if this is total installment, Lamai, like 90% of total installment, 90% of total loan installment consists of interest. I amortization part is there, but that part is very small at the beginning, Lamai, because banks try to cover this interest part first. Okay, the Lamai, if something happens, Lamai, they have, if you're not able to pay the loan amount, Lamai, they have a security. They can cover that capital part loan amount from security, Lamai. They can sell the security to someone else, or they can take the security and they can cover that capital part. Okay, loan amount, but interest, so they try to cover up interest first, right? Anyway, but remember, at the end, Lamai, right? At the end, assume your 60th loan installment, 50th installment, right? Majority, let's say this is total loan instrument, sorry, loan installment, right? The the larger part is, Lamai, opposite. Larger one is amortization, right? Amortization, let's say 85%, 15%. 15% interest lamai. But anyway lamai, what I need to say, loan installment, a loan installment or debt servicing repayment includes two parts lamai, capital part and interest part. Are you okay with this? Example lamai, when Sri Lankan government pays loan installment, loan repayment to other countries lamai, loan repayment, it includes two parts. First one, capital part, amortization part, right? Amortization, the simple idea lamai, kill amortization. We kill the loan amount, right? We kill our liability little by little, right? At one after 60 years, or sorry, say 60 installments or 5 years lamai, we will be killing the entire loan amount, right? That is called amortization. Other parties. So when calculating primary account balance lamai, total receipt minus total government expenditure without only interest part lamai. Interest part which is included in debt service in repayment. Okay, but when calculating net cash deficit lamai, total receipt minus total payments or total expenditure excluding not only interest lamai, right? Repayment of public debt mean total capital plus amortization plus interest. Both are deducted when calculating net cash deficit. Are you okay with this? But when calculating primary account balance lamai, we deduct only interest part which is included in loan installment. Are you okay? That's the main difference between primary account balance and net cash deficit lamai. Are you okay with this, Sandil? Kunara?
Yes.
Okay, the lamai. Sandil, clear the. Sandil, are you there? Are you clear with this? No issue. Somewhat okay. Oh, tell me, what is the question you have? Yes. Oh, you should be clear. Tell me, Lama, what is a unclear point to you? All payments mean what? What did you mean? Does it include all payments mean? All payments mean this year interest. No, Sandil. Loan installment means then make I explain කණික ලොකු වෙලාවක් යනවා. හරි මේම කියමු අපි. මේ ඉකෝන් නෙමේ ළමයි මේ accounting. හරි. අපි කියමුවා loan එකක් ගන්න යනවා. Total loan amount is 500. මේකනේ ළමයි සාමාන්‍ය loan එකක වෙන්නේ. හිතන්න loan amount is 500,000. Right? You need to borrow funds 500,000. Right? These 500,000 are expected to pay in 3 years. In 3 years. Okay, the lamai. This is called total loan amount, Sandil. This is called 3 years. 3 years mean time period you're given to repay the loan. Then Buddha, every loan is subject to interest lamai. There's an applicable interest rate. Assume Buddha, applicable interest rate is 10%. Buddha, there is separate. So give me 1 minute. Okay, the lamai. 10%. Then Buddha, you can calculate interest for 3 years. just calculate, but this is not, this is very simple way lama. This is very, you can say, hey, we can say lama, this is very, it's a simple method. Actually this is not the method that banks use to calculate loan installment. There's a big equation lama, right? That is called reducing balance method, and huge equation lama. Time value should be money has a time value lama, right? Time value should be adjusted. Okay, the lamai. It's a huge n number of times divided by interest rate, and it's a big equation now, right? I'm not going to calculate explain that equation. I don't know that how it works. But anyway, the simple calculation, Sandeep. Right. Then Buddha, how much you have to pay? How much do you have to pay? You are given 3 years. 3 years into 12. 3 years into 12 mean 12 in 12 months per year. It's mean like 36 installments. 36 installments. Ek clear the thumbnail? 36 installments. You are given 36 installments to pay the loan. Are you okay with this? I want answers. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Yes. Yeah, it's been 36 months, right? 36 months. දැන් ඔයාට ළමයි මේ ගන්න ලෝන් එක එක දවසින් පේ කරන්න බෑනේ. එක ඉන්ස්ටෝල්මන්ට් එකපාර පේ කරයි නේද? ලෝන් ගන්න ඕනේ නෑනේ ළමයි. ඔය කියන එක ඔයාලට ක්ලියර්ද? ඔයාලට දෙනවා right 36 මං ඔයාලට 36 months ඔයාලට දෙන්න monthly wise පේ කරන්න. කොහොමද ඉන්ස්ටෝල්මන්ට් එක එයා calculate කරන්නේ? එයා බලනවා ළමයි loan amount 500,000 into interest rate how much. I told you interest rate is 10% ළමයි. Interest rate 10%. මේ තියෙන annual interest එකනේ ළමයි. How many years? 3 years there. Okay the ළමයි. Then you can calculate total interest amount ළමයි. How much the total interest amount? Can you tell me the value? 50,000 into 3 නේද ළමයි. How much? 150,000. සන්දිල් මේ මොකද්ද 150,000 කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? ඔබට කියන්නේ. How much 150,000? What is 150,000? Sorry. What is 150,000? Or total interest, yes. Total interest for total interest of this loan lamai. Total interest. Okay, the lamai. You have to pay 500,000. You have to exactly pay 500,000 lamai. You have to pay. You are liable to pay 500,000 plus not only 500,000. This loan interest amount. Then how much the total amount you have to pay lamai? How much? You have borrowed 500,000. You have to settle this 500,000 trust. Then total interest lamai 150,000. Then how much the total amount? Yes, you have to pay at end of 3 years lamai. After 3, at end of 3 years, third year. I mean, for these 3 years, Buddha, within these 3 years, you have to pay 650,000. 650,000. ඔයා ලෝන් එක ගත්තේ 500,000 හැබැයි 150,000 additionally pay කරන්න වෙනවා. ඒක තමයි interest. දැන් ඕක බැංක් එකේ කැල් කරනවා. ඊට පස්සේ මොකද්ද කරන්නේ බැංක් එකේ? ඔයාට ළමයි මේ ගාන එක දවසින් ගෙවන්න බෑනේ. එක ඉන්ස්ටෝල්මන්ට් එකකින් ගෙවන්න බෑනේ. ඒකනේ ඔයාට දෙයි ගාරන්ටි ඉන්නවා 3 years. ඔයා බැංක් එකට කියනවා මට මේක 1 year වලින් නම් ගෙවන්න බෑ. මම 3 years වලින් කරා. ඒතකොට බැංක් එක කරන්නේ තව ඔයාට පොඩි support එකක් දෙනවා. මොකද මේක divide කරනවා 36 වලින්. එතකොට ඔයාට ඒ ගන්න පුළුවන් monthly installment එක. How much the monthly installment? Can you tell me? Use your calculator and tell me. 160, sorry, 650,000 divided by 36. Can you tell me the approximate value, Lama? Divide by 36. 18,000 something, Lama? Right, let's say 18,000. 18,000. Sandil, what is this 18,000 rupees? What is this? What is this 18,000? Can you tell me? What is this, Lama? Yes. Monthly installment. Then Puta, this monthly installment consists of two main components. What are the two main components? Number one, interest payment එකකුත් ඕකේ ඇතුලේ තියෙනවා ළමයි. capital කියන්නේ 500,000. Are you okay with this? ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයාලට first installment එකේ ළමයි මෙන්න මේ 500,000 එකෙන් part එකකුත් ගෙවන්න වෙනවා. 150,000 වලින් part එකක්. එතකොට මේ දෙකම add කළා තමයි total installment එක ඔයාලට දීලා තියෙන්නේ ළමයි. එතකොට මේ 18,000 වල දෙකක් තියෙනවා මොනවද තියෙන්නේ? interest payment එකක් තියෙනවා plus මෙන්න මේ 500,000. මේකට කියනවා amortization part එක. ඔයා කවදා හරි දවසක මෙන්න මේ part එක ඉවර කරන්න ඕනේ ඉතින් ළමයි. Clearද? මේ part එක ඉවර වුණ දවසට ඔයාලා තමයි ඔයාට කියන්නේ right now loan is settled. okayද ළමයි? Are you okay with this? Then here ළමයි debt servicing payment mean installment for 1 month. Right? Then government also ළමයි government has been given installment. Government has loaned installment, right? For April 2026, this is the total loan installment. For April month, this is the loan amount that I have to pay. Okay, the lamai or 2026 total entire for 2026. This is the total loan installment. Should I pay? Okay, the lamai. Are you okay with this? Right? This is the total loan installment. I have to pay. That includes both lamai. Number one, capital part. Other one is interest part. Are you okay with this? When calculating net cash deficit Sandil, total received minus payments excluding repayment of public debt. Okay, the lamai. Excluding repayment of public debt. එතකොට public debt කිව්වහම repayment of public debt කිව්වම අර දෙකම තියෙනවා මොනවද තියෙන්නේ? amortization cost එකක් තියෙනවා interest එකක් තියෙනවා. Clearද? Are you okay with this? හරිද ළමයි? මේකේ තියෙන I part එක විතරයි interest එක විතරයි. ඕකේද? clear? Okay. Yeah. Right. ළමයි මේකත් එක්ක මේක කම්පෙයාර් කරන්න එපා ළමයි. ඕකේ? ඒ කියන්නේ මේ 1 second first one second one third මේවා මොනවද current account balance overall balance තව මොනවද ළමයි primary account balance මේ ටික ඔක්කොම මේ plus 3 concepts ළමයි economic concepts. clearද? ඒකයි මම කියේ මේ concepts දෙකක් මේ දෙකක් ළමයි economic concepts and public accounting කියන්නේ වෙනම separate area එකක් ළමයි. clearද? ඒතර ඔයාට මේවත් එක්ක මේක කම්පෙයාර් කරන්න යන්න එපා මම නිකන් කරේ. හරිද? ඔයාලට පොඩි අයිඩියා එකක් දෙන්න මෙතන ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට් එක විතරයි අයින් කරන්නේ මෙතන amortization plus total repayment එක. clearද? මේ දැන් කෙනෙක්ට හිතෙන්න පුළුවන් සර් මේ අපිට accounting වල කළා නෑ නේ සර් අපි ඒ කියන්නේ මේ capital අපි pay කරන capital part එක ළමයි අපි liability එකක් විදිහටනේ deduct කරන්නේ. අපි ඒක expense එකක් විදිහට ගන්න. එතකොට මේකේ අය අරන් තියෙන. ඒක අර ඒකට ළමයි අර arguments ගේන්න බෑ අපිට. මොකද මේ අපි දන්නේ නෑනේ මේක අනිත් එක ඔයාලට ඕනිත් නෑ එහෙම ළමයි. clearද? public accounting and ඇත්තට මෙතන පොඩි issue එකක් තියෙනවනේ. accounting එක පොඩි යනවනේ පොඩි අවුලක් ළමයි. accounting වල අපි total expenses වල ළමයි මේ capital amount එක ගන්න නෑ. interest එක විතරනේ ගන්න expenses. ඒකට ආගියුමන්ට් එකක් ගේන්න පුළුවන් සර් මෙතන payments කියලා මොකද්ද මේ කරලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒක අර අපිට එහෙම මේ ආගියුමන්ට්ස් ගේන්න බෑ ළමයි ඒකයි මම කිව්වේ. මේක economic concept එකක් නෙමෙයි. හැබැයි ඔයා දැනගන්න ඕනේ. ඔයා ඊළඟට තියෙනවා අපිට debt servicing payments වල දෙකක් තියෙනවා මොනවද තියෙන්නේ? capital part එකක් තියෙනවා. interest එකක් තියෙනවා. clearද? හරිද? අර පොඩි අයිඩියා එකක් ගන්න මේ net cash debt. Simple idea ළමයි. If you can remember these two concepts, that's enough. Number one, it is not an economic concept, it's a public accounting concept. Other one is lamai. It is calculated the simple equation lamai. What is equation? It is calculated total receipts minus total payments excluding repayment of public debt. Public debt කියන්නේ government එකේ loans lamai. මේ year එකට ගෙවන්න තියෙන loans මේ ගන්න. හරි එතකොට ඒකේ දෙකම තියෙනවා හරි. repayment of public debt කිව්වම දෙකම තියෙනවා මොනවද තියෙන්නේ? capital amount එක amortization part එකක් තියෙනවා. clear නේද ළමයි? right. ලොකු attention එකක් දෙන්න එපා ළමයි මේකට. right. right. then ළමයි give me 1 minute.
Excuse me, sir.
yes පුතා.
When calculating primary balance in the alternative method, you told that we have to add overall budget balance and government interest payments, right?
We have to add government interest payment. Yes.
Shouldn't that be subtract?
No. When calculating overall balance puta, we have to deduct interest payment. Do you agree with me? Are you okay with this? When calculating overall balance, right? Do we have to deduct interest payment? When calculating overall, I'm not talking about primary account balance. When calculating overall balance, do we have to deduct interest payment?
Yes.
Yes. Then when calculating primary account balance, should we deduct interest or shouldn't we deduct interest? Forget that equation. Tell me the concept, Lama. Just focus the concept. When calculating primary account balance, should I deduct interest or not?
We should.
Interest? No, total expenditures without interest payment. Give me 1 minute. When primary account is balance is calculated, Lama, we have to deduct total expenditures without interest. Without interest. Deduct all expenses without interest. Then tell me, Buddha, here, do I have to deduct interest from total receipt or not? Am I deducting interest payment from total receipt?
No.
No, without interest. Look at that. Without interest. Right? Excluding interest, I deduct all other expenses from total receipt. Are you okay with this? So here, Lamai, interest payment is not deducted. Are you okay with this? Overall balance, is it deducted or not?
It is.
Deducted, yes, it is. Then, if you are given overall balance, how would you calculate primary account balance? Right? You are given overall balance. I would say, Putra Punara, overall balance is overall budget balance is Punara 15,000 surplus. 15,000 surplus. Then I would say, Punara, I want to calculate primary account balance as well. Primary account balance. Right? You are not given any other concepts, Lamai. No receipts or nothing. Nothing given. Right? You will be given an overall balance 15,000 surplus. Then I want you to calculate primary account balance. Then how would you do it? Tell me. These are analytical skills lamai. These are not economics. If you are given overall balance, how would you calculate primary account balance? What is the difference between these two, primary account balance and overall balance? There's only one difference, Punara. What is the difference?
Interest
Interest
expenses.
payment. When calculating overall balance, interest payment has been already deducted. But when calculating primary account balance, we can't reduce interest, we can't deduct interest. Then we have to add that interest amount that has been already deducted from your overall balance to calculate primary account balance. Are you okay with this?
Yes.
Because when calculating overall balance, we have already deducted interest payment. But when calculating primary account balance, we can't deduct interest payment without interest. Then you have to add back, right? You have to add that interest payment that you have already deducted from your overall balance to calculate primary. That's an alternative method. If you deduct interest again, Lama, you have deducted interest 2 times. I mean, if you deduct interest from overall balance again, the interest amount, have to be deducted 2 times. Are you okay with this?
Yes.
Uh, then remember, if you are given overall balance, Puta, you need to add interest payment to calculate primary account balance. Sandeep, okay, the Buddha, clear the. I think you also asked same question last day, right? Yes. Right. Good. Right. These 4 parts are okay. Then there's a small question. Uh, Page number 27. Test your knowledge. Explain the. Good. Thank you. Okay. Lamai, ask any question. No any doubt. I'm not perfect man. Okay, the Lamai. I'm still learning Lamai. Okay. I also can learn lot from students. Us, that is called critical and analytical. This is it's a wonderful. You need to have that skill. Ask anything. This is your class. Okay, the Lamai. If you can't, if I can't answer, or if I ignore your questions, Lamai, it means Lamai. Number one is I'm not good teacher. Uh, I have to answer. As a student, you should have questions, Lamai. Ask anything. It's okay. No any doubt. If I don't know Lamai, I'll go through some books and your professor's book or something, or annual report or something, and I'll let you know. Okay, Lamai. Ask anything. No any doubt. No any problem. Right. And also you can't cut කටපාඩම් ළමයි. එහෙම කරන්න බෑනේ ළමයි මේ මම දැකලා තියෙන ගොඩාක් තැන්වල ඒක තමයි කරන්නේ ළමයි. Clearද? Students don't have any they're not given any, I mean students are not given any chance to think, logically think ළමයි. Clear? Right. Right. Okay. Page number 27 ළමයි. Test your knowledge. Test your knowledge question. Test your knowledge. And also ළමයි, this asking questions is a good point ළමයි, because even though 2-3 students are in the class ළමයි, many students watch recordings. Last time also I saw 9 or 10 students had paid. This means 8 or 7 or 6 students watching recordings now. So it will be this asking question will be great help for them. Okay, the lamai. So ask anything, no any issue, right? Uh, I can't find the cute number 2 lamai. Give me one. Public. Uh, Page number 27, Lama. 27. Net cash deficit. The net cash deficit equation, okay, right? No. Sorry, give me. Net cash deficit equation. Yeah, Pudha, write down the equation for net cash deficit. Write down the equation of net cash deficit. Net cash deficit. Yes. Can you see the screen, Lamai? Yes. It is the difference between total government receipts and total. Oh, there are two, Lamai. Cut one. Remove one part. Total government receipts and total government payments excluding government debt repayment. Okay, the Lamai. Write down the equation here. Net cash deficit equals net cash deficit equals Lamai. What is the equation? Total receipts minus payments. Payments excluding interest. Sorry, excluding loan repayment. Loan repayment. Repayment includes both amortization part or capital part and interest. Okay, the Lamai, don't ask me question like, sir, when calculating primary account balance, overall balance, and current account balance, we deducted total expenses, right? Expenses, total government expenditure. Here, you have just deducted payments, right? Why is it, sir? Then actually, I don't have answer, Lamai. That's why I told you, don't compare that press 3 and last one, Lamai. Okay, so this is a totally different area and total different segment, Lamai. Subject area. Okay, the Lamai. Alternative equation, Lamai, if you are given primary account balance, I want you to calculate net cash deficit. Net cash deficit. But you are given, Lamai, primary account balance. Then primary account balance. How should I do it, Lamai? Primary account balance. Punara, if you are given primary account balance, how to calculate net cash deficit? What is the additional component you need, Lamai?
Capital.
Ah, no. Lamai, it's better to avoid this, skip this, because as I told you, it's difficult to compare these two approaches, right? No need alternative equation. Yeah, it's okay. Amortization part or that capital part need to be added. But if it is not logical to compare, Lamai, right? Because as there are two approaches. Press the equation enough lamai. Okay. Right. Test your knowledge, Lamai. Number one, test your knowledge question. Explain the main difference between primary account balance and net financial debt. Lamai. As I told you, mainly two differences. Sorry, mainly two differences. Number one, Lamai, write down. First one, this side we can say primary account balance. Primary account balance. Primary account balance. Other side, Lamai, net cash deficit. Net cash deficit. Under the primary account balance lamai, you can say puta that is economic concept, right? Is an economic concept. Economic concept. But when it comes to net cash deficit lamai, is considered as public accounting concept. Public accounting concept. Public accounting. Economic concept. Second one is public net cash deficit is considered as public accounting concept. Other one is when calculating primary account balance only interest part is deducted. Disregard only interest payment only interest payment. Only interest payment. Net cash deficit lamai, when calculating net cash deficit, disregard both and say amortization and interest payment. Interest. Okay, the lamai. These are the remember that these two differences are okay. No need very in detail idea or in that's enough. Are you okay with this, Lama? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Sandil, clear the Buddha. Good. Remove this alternative method one. Alternative method, no need that. Actually, Lama, I haven't seen any single question from this net cash deficit in past paper history, but it is in your syllabus, Lama. You can't skip that point as it is in the syllabus. But primary account balance, Lama, is serious concept. You can do this example number 2, Lama. Practice this concept, Lama. Example number 2, the following table shows the hypothetical data for a particular economy. Total revenue and grants. Shall we do it, Lamai? Sandeep? Example number 2, page number 20, either 25, Lamai.
Yes, sir.
Right. Total revenue and receipts. Lamai, total revenue includes two main components. Kunara, can you tell me what are the two main components? Total revenue, total revenue. There are two parts.
Tax and
Tax and
non-tax.
non-tax. Very good. Then Buddha, here total revenue and grants given together. Can you tell me one word for this total revenue and grants? Total government revenue and grants is called government receipt.
Receipt.
Yes. Okay, Lama, I'll give you 5 minutes. Give a try. I want you to work, Lama. Then I'll discuss. This is total receipt, right? Total receipt. Sandhi, let's do it, Lama. Recurrent expenditures, capital expenditures, net lending given, grants given separately, interest payment 18,000, non-tax revenue 10,000. Answer the following questions: current account balance, overall budget balance, primary account balance. Lama, not it. Should be primary account balance. Primary account balance. Lamai, pay a serious attention on primary account balance, right? Right. Example number 2. Example number 2. Page number 25. Page number 25. First one, Lamai, current account balance. First one is current account balance. Write down the equation, Lamai, how to calculate current account balance. Current account balance equals Lamai, not the receipts, only government revenue. When calculating current account balance, total revenue should be taken into account. Total revenue minus recurrent expenditure. Recurrent. Okay, the lamai. Recurrent expenditures. Total revenue. Lamai, total revenue has not been given. But total revenue and grants given. How much? 75,000. Received 75,000. Received 75,000. Okay, the lamai. But here we need to take total revenue. Sandil, what should I do, Buddha? You can't substitute 75,000. No. You have done it and sent me. Punara, what should I do, Buddha? Deduct
5,000.
5,000 grants, Lama. Yes. 5,000 grants. Okay, the Lama. Then total government revenue would be how much, Lama? 70,000. When calculating total revenue, sorry, current account balance, only 70,000 should be taken. Minus recurrent expenditures given, Lama. No need to worry. Recurrent expenditure 60,000. Then put the total current account balance plus 10,000. This is surplus now. Good. Right? Having current account surplus mean lamai, we can say it's a good achievement. 10,000. Second one, overall balance. Yeah, good Sandeep. Good. Current account balance. Okay. Second one, overall balance. How to calculate overall balance, Lama? Hmm? Second one, overall balance. Overall balance equals Lama. Overall balance equals. Overall balance equals total receipts lama. එතන receipts ගන්න අපි receipts minus total expenditures. Total expenditures. Total expenditures lamai. Total receipts given 75,000 minus total expenditure lamai. Total expenditure not given separately, add them together lamai. Recurrent expenditure 6,000 plus capital expenditures 20,000. And net lending 8,000. Net lending 8,000. 75,000 minus how much total expenditures, Lamai? 88,000, right? 88,000. Then Lamai, overall balance is a deficit minus 13,000. Are you okay with this? Sandil, Punara?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Then Lamai, if you make a comment based on this overall balance, right? Uh, Based on this overall balance, Puta, if you make a comment on physical discipline of current government, that is not logical because in total expenditures, Puta, in Sri Lankan, I'm talking about Sri Lankan budget, more than I think 44%. I'm not yes, more than 44% of expenditures, are the interest payments now. Because interest payment, yeah, that is present government has to pay it, but that is not the result of current economic policies. Interest payment included in total expenditures is not the result of the present government, not the result of policies of present government. Okay, the lamai. So if you analyze, if you measure the progress or the actual performance of current government or present government based on overall balance, it is not logical. And that's why we calculate primary account balance. Primary account. Okay, right. Primary account. primary account. හරිද? හරි දැන් මේම කියන්නකෝ ළමයි. ඔයාලා ගෙදර ගන්න පේරන්ට්ස්ලා තමයි ඔක්කොම මැනේජ් කරන්නේ ෆයිනෑන්ෂල් සයිඩ් එකේ ඉන්කම් එක්ස්පෙන්ස් දන්න ඔයාට අවුරුදු 20ක් විතර වුණාට පස්සේ after no after you become an adult age 18 නේද? Assume පුතා you are given assume you are given the right to control handle budget income and expense. ඔයා තමයි ඔක්කොම කරන්න ඕන. හරි ඉන්කම් එක හැන්ඩල් කරන්නේත් ඔයා එක්ස්පෙන්ස්. හැබැයි හිතන්න ළමයි ඔයාලගේ හවුස් හෝල්ඩ් එක ළමයි කලින් ලෝන්ස් අරන් තියෙනවා. ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට් පේමන්ට් එකක් තියෙනවා ළමයි. අපි කියමු 100,000 විතර one month. year either 500,000 interest payment per year. 500,000 interest payment per year. හරි දැන් ඔයා තමයි ඔන්න ෆිසිකල් මැනේජර් ළමයි. හරි ෆයිනෑන්ස් මැනේජර් ඔයා. හිතන්න monthly නිකන් ඔයා හිතන්න right monthly ගමනේ ළමයි කියලා. monthly ගම. 1 million 1 lakh this is දැන් මේව ඔයා ගත්තේ ඒවා නෙමෙයි ළමයි. ඔයාලගේ පේරන්ට්ස්ලා ගත්තේ ඒවා. දැන් ඔයාට කියන්න බෑනේ මට මේක ගෙවන්න නැතුව ඉන්න කියලා බැංක් එකට. ක්ලියර්ද? එහෙම කියන්න බෑ ඔයාට පේ කරන්න වෙනවා. ක්ලියර්ද? හිතන්න ඔයා මේ මන්ත් එකට ළමයි ඔයාගේ ඉන්කම් එක 900 හරිද? ඒක අපි ගමු 300,000 හරිද? ඔයාගේ ටෝටල් ඉන්කම් එක 900,000 ෆැමිලි එක. ටෝටල් එක්ස්පෙන්සස් ළමයි අපි කියමු 10,000 sorry මේ yeah 1 million 1 million. Okay the lamai. Then if you evaluate your performance lamai, right? Performance of managing a budget or the household's income expenditures lamai, you have no any progress lamai. Why? You have not been able to balance your income and expenditure. How much total income? 900,000, but expenditure 1 million lamai. Then there is a deficit. Then you have to borrow funds from someone else to bridge this gap. Okay, then someone can say, "Oh, සන්දි ලොවට මේ එක මාසෙයි දුන්නේ මේ ගෙදර මේ income එක expenditures එක balance කරගන්න බැරි වෙලා තියෙනවනේ බලන්නකෝ. Expenditure exceed your income." ඔයාලා මේ මාර කියනවා නේද? ඔයාලා 20 plus multitasking ඔයාලට ඕකවත් balance කරගන්න බෑ. කියලා කියන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි ළමයි මේකේ මේ 300 sorry 1 million වල 300,000 මේ ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට් පේමන්ට් එක මේ සන්දිල් ගත්ත ඒවට පේ කරන ලෝන්ස් වලට ගත්ත ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට් එකක් නෙමෙයි ළමයි. එතකොට අපි ළමයි හරි නෑ නේද ළමයි? එතකොට අපි මේකත් මෙතෙන්ට දාලා මෙයාගේ performance evaluate කරලා අපි කිව්වොත් ආපෝ සන්න මේක බැලන්ස් කරගන්න කිව්වොත් හරි නෑ නේද ළමයි? ඒක හරියන්නේ නැහැ. It's not logical, it's not prudent. Okay ද ළමයි? We can't measure the actual performance of present government or current government based on overall balance budget. Right? Because when calculating overall budget balance lamai, we deduct interest payment as well. Interest payment is a result of past debt lamai. This government is not responsible. This government has not taken this law. Okay, the lamai. Then if you want to measure your actual performance, financial management performance lamai, okay, have to remove this 300,000, right? Then your income 900,000. How much expense? 100,000 interest payment for past debt, then deduct this 300,000 from your total your controllable expenditure, right? The expenditures in your controllable area, right, is 600, but you have earned 600,000, not 900,000. Expenditure 600,000. No, not sorry. Expenditure should be 700,000. Then lamai, you have created a surplus. You have created something excess to the family. Okay, lamai. You can proudly say that, wow, look at my performance, right? I have saved. This is called savings lamai, right? After deducting expenses lamai, if you have excess, this is called savings. Okay, then you can say, wow, I have created 200,000 savings for this month, right? How talent I have. Okay, then you can say. But I need to say that based on that total overall budget balance, it's not prudent, it's not logical to evaluate, we can say, performance of government. That's why we calculate. That's why there is a requirement, right? There's a requirement to calculate a budget balance called primary account. This is the practical application. This is a requirement. Understand? Okay, the Dalamai. Right. Okay, the Dalamai. Right. Next one, last one, Lamai. Sorry, primary account balance. How to calculate primary account balance, Lamai, third one. So I'll show both methods. Primary account balance equals primary account. What is the original and simple equation, Lamai? Total receipts minus total expenses without interest. Without it. How much total receipts, Lamai? 75,000. Minus total expenses. How much total expenses, Lamai? 88,000. But now you can't take total expenses. Total expenses without interest, Lamai. How much the interest payment? 18,000. Right? Total expenses 18,000. Out of 18,000, Lamai. Sorry, 88,000. 18,000 na interest payment. You have to deduct interest in 70,000. 70. Then how much the primary account balance? 5. Surplus. Good. This new government is in the right track, Lamai. Okay, fiscal discipline is good. It means, Lamai, that government, the new government or present government has been able to cover or and also has been able to create a surplus. Okay, the Lamai. But this is called actually government savings. Government savings after deducting after deducting expenses, if government has a surplus or excess amount, that is called government savings. Right? These savings can be used for something else, right? Maybe to build new highway, to build new research center, right? This money can be invested on maybe long-term projects. Okay, the Lamai type of savings of a family, Lamai household, right? I'll use second method as well, Lamai. What is that second method? Second alternative method of calculating primary account. Unara, what is the equation? Second one. Primary account balance equals, if you are given overall balance,
We
primary
have to
account
add
balance,
government
sorry,
interest
overall
payments.
balance plus,
Government interest payments.
yes, plus interest. We need to add interest. Okay, the Lamai. How much overall balance is minus 13,000 plus interest, Lamai? How much interest? Interest is 18. If you add 18,000 interest, Lamai, you can calculate primary account balance. How much? Plus 5,000. Sandil Harinida Buddha, clear anyway? Both methods show the same answer. Any doubt? Okay, good. Okay, my budget part is over. If you have any doubt, let me know. There are 2 or 3 past paper question from this primary account balance, Lamai 2009. That's a good. The other one is not missed or 2020. I can't remember. You can go and later on after the class. Okay, good. Right, take a small break, Lamai, 2-3 minutes, and oxygenate yourself. take a heavy breath, and right, come at 2:50. 5 minutes break. Relax yourself and come, Lama. Right. Okay, Lamai. Shall we start? Lamai, shall we start? Andil, Punara, are you there, Puta? Shall we start?
Okay, sir.
Andil? Right. Okay, Lamai. Right. Page number 20, 20, 28. Budget deficit financing. Now you know what budget deficit is, Lamai. Budget deficit is a situation where government income is not our government expenses, Lamai. But remember, budget deficit can be different, right? It might be current account deficit or overall deficit or primary account deficit, right? But remember, whatever deficit is, Lamai, financing. Finance mean, Lamai, we have to fill this gap. Okay, Lamai. More expense. Just imagine, Buddha, in your family, household, monthly income 500,000, expenses 1 million, right? Then you can't just say, oh, I have a balance or is it, right? The lack of income, what should I know? And then you have to immediately, Buddha, you have to pitch this gap. You have to finance it. Finance mean you have to loan, Lamai. Okay? Right. Budget deficit financing at the screen. There are situations where expected expenditure of government for next financial year exceeds expected government revenue. Expected government revenue. I remember this how about expected things are estimated. When government expenditure exceeds government revenue, the main source used by the government to finance budget deficit. Finance. Word is finance. Bridge the gap. Finance budget deficit is public borrowings. Public borrowings mean the loans taken by the government, right? Why does government have to borrow funds, Lamai? To finance the budget deficit. If there is a budget deficit, finance it. Okay, the Lamai. Then Buddha, you might thinking that, sir, if there is a budget surplus, doesn't government have to borrow funds? What is your thoughts, Lamai? There is a budget surplus, Sandeep, Nara. If there's a budget surplus, income exceeds expenditure, budget surplus, what should we do with that? But remember, in developed countries, sometimes, right? Developed countries, they create budget surplus, right? They experience budget surplus. Yeah, it's good to have budget surplus. But remember this point. Even though, even though government has budget surpluses, governments try to borrow funds. I'll repeat. Even though, even though government has budget surplus, Buddha, especially in this very common in developed countries, right? Governments try to borrow funds. What is the purpose, Lamai? From financial market to stimulate the financial markets, right? Then government, even though government has a surplus budget, surplus for that, government try to borrow funds from the financial market, because when government is demanding loans, Lamai, it's an additional demand, right? The new demand for loans arises that stimulates the financial market. Okay, the Lamai. But in Sri Lanka, it never happens, Lamai. I don't think it happens, right? What I need to say about that is, even though I think if there's a budget deficit, borrow funds. If there's a budget surplus, don't we have to borrow funds? No. In some cases, Lama, even though governments have budget surpluses, they try to borrow funds from financial markets. Remember financial market, right? Financial market. It's a place where the people who are willing to borrow or who are willing to funds and who are willing to invest. Okay, meet at one place. That place is called financial market, right? Everything depends on demand and supply, right? Uh, Price of money, interest payment. And remember, interest payment is determined by demand and supply forces of funds. So what I need to say about that, to stimulate the financial market, create additional demand on funds, government try to borrow funds even though government has budget developed. That is another story. When it comes to Sri Lanka, Lamai, we don't have surplus, right? Every year we end up with budget deficit, right? Then we have to finance it. So that remember this schedule, this table, not table, this chart. This is a summary of this chart. Tama, you need to have good understanding, very clear idea on this chart, right? Budget deficit financing. These are called sources of budget deficit, from where government can borrow funds. There should be a place, Lamai. Okay, if you want to borrow funds with, assume you start a business, but you don't have money in your hand, then you have to borrow funds, right? Then there should be a particular source, right? These are, you can say, the sources, or where do governments borrow funds from? Deficit financing sources. There are mainly two sources, Lamai. Number one, domestic sources. Other one is foreign sources. Use the whiteboard. Look at the board and please pay your attention on this chart, Lamai. This is really important. Uh, Sources of deficit financing. Number one, domestic debt. Other one is foreign debt, right? Lamai, domestic debt means domestic sources, right? The governments can borrow funds from inside the country, from Sri Lankan markets or Sri Lanka, inside the country. Okay, the Lamai. Another one is foreign. Foreign debt mean from other countries. Are you okay with this? When it comes to domestic debts, Lamai, there are two parts. Number one, market sources. Other one is non-market source. Market mean, Lamai, financial market. Government can borrow funds from financial market. Financial market. Remember, Buddha, if government wants to borrow funds from financial market, government has to issue treasury bills and treasury bonds, T bills and T bonds. Can you remember? If it is a short-term money requirement, treasury bills need to be issued. If it is a long-term money requirement, treasury bonds need to be. Remember, Lamai, if government wants to borrow funds from financial market, they have to issue treasury, because the financial markets or the investors should be given particular security. Okay, the Lamai, particular security. That security is treasury or treasury bond. Are you okay with this? Financial market. So the non-markets mean here government borrow funds, yes, but these are not market sources. These are called government savings, Lamai. I mean, these are these funds available for only government. Available for Sri Lankan government, right? Uh, Government of Sri Lanka. But market sources, lama, if you want to borrow funds, I mean private sector, even private sector can go to private sector, lama. Sorry, market sources. Example, like John Keels wants to borrow funds, lamai. John Keels company or Unilever wants to borrow funds, lamai. They can go to financial market, but they can't go to non-markets. But I need to say, non-market funds are available for only government. Actually, these are government savings. Some government organizations savings, right? These are very small amounts, but government. This is called borrowing funds from government organization. Government borrows funds from another government non-market. No need to issue financial security, treasury bills and right. Then markets. There are two parts, lamai: banking, non-banking. Uh, Non-banking, these are the sources. NSB mean National Saving Banks, right? These are not commercial banks, lamai. ETF, insurance companies, and ETF, right? If government takes loans from these sources, these are called non-banking. Non-banking. Government has to issue treasury bills and treasury bonds, lamai, but these are considered as non-market sources. Non-market sources. Okay, the lamai. Buddha, you have to pay your attention on this part seriously. This is a serious part, banking sector. Second, the banking sector mean Buddha's government, Sri Lankan government can borrow funds from central bank and commercial. Can you remember, Lama? If government asks a loans from commercial bank, sorry, central bank has only one option, Lama. What is the option? How does central bank lend funds to government, Lama? By printing new coins and notes. Can you remember that part? High powered money, Lama, right? High powered money. H. Then, Lama, when government takes loans from banking sector, especially central bank has to print new coins and notes, increasing high powered money supply H. When high powered money supply increases, Lamai, what happens? Money supply increases, high powered money times money multiplier. High powered money, sorry, money supply increase. Same thing, right? If government takes funds from or loans from commercial banks, lamai, same thing, lamai, they can expand money supply by creating deposits, lamai, right? So finally, lamai, both these sources, what are the sources? Central bank and commercial bank. Borrowings from commercial bank and central bank increase the money supply. Increase the money supply, and finally, lamai, it will end up with huge inflation. Are you okay with this? So these are called the expansionary sources. What sources? Expansionary sources. Expansionary sources. Expansionary means money supply expands, right? Expansionary sources. Expansionary source. So remember, lamai, borrowings funds from especially central bank and commercial banks, or we can say banking sector, critical, lamai, critical, right? 2020 lamai, going back to our financial crisis, the one of the main reason uh, contributed to our financial crisis was printing more money. 2020 lamai, if you go through Sri Lankan budget lamai, 2019 and 2020 lamai, there is a huge budget deficit, even current account deficit lamai. Then to finance this huge budget deficit, lamai, government printed more money and released to the economy, lamai. Then what happened? High powered money supply increases, and finally money supply increase. Okay, the lamai. Uh, can you remember that what you call equation of exchange, lamai? MV equals PY. මතකයිද මෙයාව ළමයි? If money supply increase, right? If money supply increase while V and Y remain constant in the short run, lamai, we can expect direct relationship, sorry, direct increase, or the significant increase in price level. Can you remember this theory, lamai? This is called quantitative theory of money. Matakada, lamai? Right, anyway. So remember, lamai, these two sources, central bank and commercial bank, borrowings from central bank and all really, really expansionary. So when a government borrows funds from banking sector, lamai, they have to think not twice, maybe 5, 10 times, because this is real problem, serious issue. Okay, so that even though we discuss some other sources, like Sri Lankan government finally stop at this place, okay. Finally, Buddha, because example non-market sources, even though Buddha we discuss non-market sources, non-market sources ඇති ෆන්ඩ් එකක් නෑ ළමයි. නේද? තියෙනවා පොඩ්ඩයි ලංකාවේ බජට් ඩෙෆිසිට් එක කවර් කරන්න ඒක මදි ළමයි. හරිද? අපි ඒව කතා කරාට දැන් ෆොරින් ලෝන්ස් ගත්තොත් ළමයි එහෙම ගන්න බෑ ළමයි ෆොරින් ලෝන්. right? Who lends us ළමයි? Okay, to borrow funds from other countries ළමයි, there are so many conditions, rules and conditions, right? We have to comply with those conditions and higher interest rates lamai, right? And sometimes Sudha, they try to involve with our policy makings, right? In this world lamai, nothing is free. Okay, the lamai, sometimes countries may say, okay, Sri Lanka, I'll give you a grant, okay, or I'll give you a loan at a lower interest rate to finance your budget deficit, right? I don't expect anything, but Pudha, behind that decision, uh, they want to involve, Pudha. They want to involve especially our decision process. Nothing is free, even though some governments want to provide grants or loans at very low interest. They have a hidden agenda, they have a hidden plan. Okay, the Lamai, right? It's another story. So what I need to say, Lamai, even though there are so many sources available, Lamai, to borrow funds, Sri Lankan government, Lamai, finally government has to go to market sources, especially banking, central bank and commercial banks, creating a huge, we can say, inflation or increase in money supply, and finally the country ends up with huge. Are you okay with this? Sorry, Punara, Sandil.
Yes, sir.
So that write down, highlight this banking sector, put a circle to the banking sector, and write it down. These are called expansionary sources. Expansionary sources mean mainly central bank and this is a cycle ළමයි. අපේ කොහොමත් ඉන්කම් එකට වඩා එක්ස්පෙන්ඩිචර්ස් ගොඩක් වැඩි. එතකොට වෙන්නේ බජට් ඩෙෆිසිට් එකක් එනවා. බජට් ඩෙෆිසිට් එක ෆයිනෑන්ස් කරන්න අනිවාර්යෙන් ළමයි ලෝන්ස් ගන්නවා. ලෝන්ස් ගන්න වෙනවා කියන්නේ ඕක අපි කොච්චර කිව්වත් මම කලින් markets non markets it non banking අඩුවේ අන්තිමට ගන්න කොහෙටද ළමයි banking sector central bank or bank ළමයි ඊට පස්සේ high powered money ඊට පස්සේ money supply increase ඒත් එක clear right. The non-markets mean borrowings from funds from other government. This is called taking loan. Government borrows funds from other government. Borrowing funds from government. Government borrows from them, the government, right? Government borrows, takes loans from government organizations where some excess funds available. That is called non-market. Non-market. Okay, then banking. Remember, the market sources means they have to. Government has to issue treasury bills and treasury bills are called government. Then there are two segments: banking and non-banking. Banking, central bank and are called expansionary sources of finance. Expansionary, expansionary sources mean money supply increases due to increase in high. Shall we move on, Lamai?
Okay, sir.
Okay. And Lamai, when talking about this non-banking sector, Lamai, non-banking sector, especially national saving banks and insurance, and also ETF. Lamai, these sources do not create direct expansionary effect, Lamai, right? There's no direct impact on money supply and number one, Lamai, because the main reason, even though government borrows funds from the savings bank, Lamai, these are all not commercial banks. These banks are not able to create deposits, Lamai. Only commercial banks can create deposits, right? So even though government borrows funds from national savings bank, Lamai, they can't create deposits. So there won't be money expansion. If there is a deposit expansion, what happens, Lamai? Finally, money supply increase. Can you remember money deposit expansion multiply? Deposit expansion multiply is not valid for, not working for licensed specialized bank, Lamai. Working for only commercial bank, right? That's why these areas or these sources are called non-banking sources, and also, Lamai, sources, National Saving Bank, EP, do not create a direct impact on money. Okay, the Lamai. It may create some indirect impact. Okay, the Lamai. But there's no direct. Are you okay with the main issue, Lamai? Main advantage of borrowing funds from non-banking sector, money supply does not expand directly on the spot. Okay, the Lamai. Are you okay with this, Sandil? Okay. So remember this chart. This is really important, right? Right. Next one, domestic sources. Mainly, there are two domestic sources. What are the domestic sources? You can write it down, Lamai. What are the domestic sources? Market and non-market. Write down, Lamai. Market sources and non-market. Market and non-market. Market sources and non-market. Non. What is the Lamai? Markets and non. Uh, are you okay with this, Buddha? Are you done? Market sources, non-market sources. Let me know once you're done.
Done, sir.
Sandeep? Good. Next one, Lamai. Borrowings from market sources. Borrowings from market sources. Borrowings from market sources. What definition? Put a star mark and write down, Lamai. Write down market borrowings referred to. Write down lamai. Market borrowing. Or we can say it refers to the process. Refers to the process by which the government finances finances its fiscal deficit. Its fiscal deficit. Fiscal deficit by raising funds. By raising funds from domestic financial market. Domestic financial domestic financial market. Lamai, can you remember what financial market is, Lamai? Are you okay? Financial market, there are two parts, right? Can you remember money market and what is other one? Money market and anyone? Capital market, Lamai. Okay, the Lamai. Share money, capital market side, Lamai. Can you remember share market, right? Treasury bonds, debentures. Okay, the Lamai. Fiscal deficit by raising funds from domestic financial market through the issuance. Through the a issuing of debt instruments. Debt instrument. Debt instruments. What are my debt instruments? What are the debt instruments? Treasury bills and treasury bonds. Debt instruments such as treasury bills, treasury bills and bonds. Treasury bonds. Treasury bonds, treasury bills and treasury bonds, and other government securities. Then Buddha here government has to pay interest. Huh? Government has to pay government. Here I want you to remember when borrowing funds from a domestic financial market, government to issue treasury bills, treasury bonds as security. To issue an issue of debt in. Are you okay with this? Right. Next one, Lamai. Bank sources or expansionary sources. Loans obtained from central bank and from commercial banks are identified as loans of bank in years. It is also called borrowing money from inflationary sources. Inflationary sources. When borrowing money from bank in budget deficit, comma, it will cause lump. And you can cause money expansion with the economy. Cause money expansion within. There are two sources, Lamai. What are the sources? And sorry, the government can borrow funds from. Number one, first one, central bank. From central bank. Other one is the one is the Lamai. This is also known as expansionary effect on of budget. Expansionary effect of budget. Expansionary of budget. The Lamai. Point non-bank sources or non-expansionary sources. Borrowings money from non-bank. Non-bank mean Lamai, not commercial banks, right? Which cannot create money, such as national saving banks, development banks, insurance companies, APT, and called borrowing, right? As money supply is not increased by non-banking sources, these are called non-inflationary. Are called non, as these sources do not affect money. Non-banking, okay. Then put the non-market source. Write down, sorry, obtaining money from the deposits and surpluses of government institutions. Obtaining money from deposits and surpluses. Deposits and surplus funds of government institutions temporary to finance the budget deficit. All borrowing fund. Government is borrowing funds from government. Okay. Temporary government can take these funds, finance the budget deficit. Okay. So no need to pay interest for, right? That's why the government, does not have to issue treasury bills, right? Examples write down Lamai. Number one, department savings. Some department department. Then we can say Lamai other funds of government organized. Government is right. These are called non-market. Government is borrowing from government. But remember, Lamai, these funds in So are insignificant, so very low. Then lamai neither inflationary pressure nor crowding out effect is caused by non-market. I'll explain what crowd effect. Highlight the word. Right. Next one lamai foreign financing sources. Foreign financing sources. Foreign financing sources. Foreign financing. So I'll explain crowding out effect in short. Listen very carefully. Crowding out effect. So the crowding out when it comes to banking sector, lamai, banking sector or financial market, well, where we can say financial market, uh, the developing countries like Sri Lanka, right? Financial markets of developing countries that don't have unlimited amount of loanable funds, right? Unlimited amount of loanable funds. Uh, in a financial market, lamai, we have very limited amount of funds, unfortunately. Okay, the lamai, right? Then what is the price of money, lamai? Price of money is called interest rate. Okay, then we have very limited. Just think of lamai goods and service market, right? Supply of one particular good is very limited, lamai, right? Very small amount of supply coming to the market, but demand is really high, right? In the financial market, lamai, government is asking loans, private sector is asking loans. Then this loanable or unlimited amount of loanable funds will be demanded by different parties. If there's a huge demand for these loans, lamai, what happens to Nara?
Increases.
Increase. Okay, get what I said? In the financial markets of developing countries, lamai, there are very small amount of loanable funds. Small amount of loanable funds, right? Assume Puta, this is financial market. Financial market. In the financial market, lamai, there is a demand for funds. There's a demand for fund that is called money demand. Demand for funds and also lamai supply of funds, right? This is the equilibrium. Price of money is called interest rate. Are you okay with this? This is the financial market. Then Buddha, to give loans to someone else, okay, the lamai, we should have funds, we should have money. Remember, lamai, to financial markets, I mean, the main sources of funds, or in other words, lamai, funds are coming to financial markets from savings. Savings. Funds are coming from savings. Okay, the lamai, savings. Okay. When Buddha, remember, when we have a limited amount of savings, lamai, we can see very limited amount of loanable funds in the financial market as well. But demand is not limited; it's unlimited, lamai. Many people and come and ask loans, especially government, lamai. Government wants loans in trillions, lamai, millions, right? Then, lamai, when government puts its big hand and takes all, majority of these loanable funds from financial market, lamai, first disadvantage is private sector will end up with lack of funds, right? Assume lamai, total the money available, funds available in the financial market is 15 billion. Okay, the lamai. This 15 billion can be invested or can be given as loans now. Okay, assume interest rate is 10%, average interest rate is 10%. Okay, let's say banks lamai. Banks are willing to no. Anyway, in the financial market lamai 10 billion funds are available. But assume that to finance budget deficit, government needs 10 billion funds or 13 billion funds. 13 billion, right? Then government puts the government will superpower nilamai. The government puts its big hand and gets more money, loanable funds from this financial market. Then lamai only 2 million of funds available for private. Okay, lamai. Then private sector will end up with lack of funds. Lamai. Remember, even though the government borrows funds from financial markets to cover the budget deficit now, finance the budget deficit, right? It does not create any economic benefit, but private sector takes loans for investment, right? So when private sector, right, does not have enough funds to invest, lamai, it will directly affect future economic growth, lamai, right? Then here, lamai, when government borrows funds from financial market, first disadvantage for private sector is, lamai, they have lack of funds now, right? There are not much funds available for private sector because government takes more of loanable funds from the financial market. This is a first disadvantage. What is first disadvantage, Ramai? First one is lack of funds for private sector. Lack of funds for private sector. Lack of funds for private sector. Second one, Lamai, when government is demanding more funds, sorry, what happens to demand? Demand for funds, Lamai. Demand for funds increase. Demand curve shifts right side. Suddenly, what happens to rate of interest? Lamai. Punara, what happens to rate of interest? Increase.
Increase.
Yes, Lamai. Then Lamai, assume this average interest rate of 10% Lamai increases to, there's a pressure on interest rates to increase Lamai, right? Assume now interest rate is 15%. Why interest rate has gone up? Due to higher demand Lamai. Government is demanding funds, private sector, businesses come and demand funds, then finally Lamai, price of money starts to increase. Then again, Lamai, private sector, right, will have another disadvantage. What is the disadvantage? Another problem, higher interest. Even though they borrow funds from financial market, they have to pay higher interest. When interest rates are high, Lamai, investment discouraged, right? So second disadvantage is my rise in interest, sorry, rise in R mean interest rate. So that these both of these disadvantages on private sector are called crowding out effect. What effect? Crowding out effect. Crowding. Crowding out effect. Okay, the Lamai. Then when government borrows funds from financial market, Lamai, number one is uh, private sector will end up with lack of funds because government puts its big hand and takes more money from financial market. Okay, the Lama, then there will be very limited amount of funds, loanable for funds for private sector. It will reduce the investment of the economy. That's not good. Other one is Lama, when government demands more funds from financial market, Lama, finally interest rate will go up, uh, increasing. That is called the cost of borrowings, Lama, or we can say rate of interest, right? Cost of borrowing. So yes, cost of borrowings finally will increase, creating a big disadvantage, right? Big burden on private sector. Both of them are called crowding out. Are you okay with this? Okay, the Lamai.
Yes, sir.
Okay, crowding out effect. Crowding out. The crowding out effect again, banking sector again, financial market. Lamai, I'll give you a separate note for crowding out. Remember the idea. No need to write it down. Sandil, right. Then lamai unmarked. Right. Last point lamai foreign debt, foreign finance sources. There are two main foreign finance sources. Lamai write down first one. So that we can divide loans, foreign loans into two parts. Number one, concessionary loans. What is meant by concessionary loans? Write it down. Concessionary loans. So the concessionary loans mean number one, low interest, right? Low interest and less terms. Less terms mean like condition rules and conditions are really low. These are called concessionary loans, right? Japan has been, one of the main countries giving us concessionary loans, right? Their interest rates are really low. Sometimes, Lamai, Sri Lanka is given loans by the Japan, government of Japan at 2% interest, Lamai. Annual interest rate is 2%. It's almost free, Lamai. Just think of Lamai. And also, Lamai, 40, 50 years are given to repay. 2% interest and to 40, 50 years to repay, Lamai. Pay it back. That is like, actually, Lamai, almost it's free funds, right? Just think about time value of money after 40 years, Lamai. And interest rate is 2%. These are called concessionary loans and low terms and conditions. And also these are called foreign aids as well. Okay, then. Uh, Second one, Lamai, commercial loans. Second one is called commercial loan. Second one is called commercial. Commercial loans mean Buddha, we have to, the borrowing funds from international financial markets. Maybe it might from IMF, from other countries, or other from other organizations, Lamai, lending organizations like ADB, National Bank, right, and maybe China. Okay, the Lamai. Remember, Buddha, in commercial loans, interest rates are really high. Okay, example, Lamai, China. I think 10% of our loan portfolio belongs to China. I mean, 10% of public debt of Sri Lanka has been taken from China, right, at the highest interest rate, Lamai. Okay, the Lamai. China is very cunning country, Lamai, right? Or not? They have very big plans, Lamai, different plans. Uh, China, I don't know. Then China is willing to give more loans to Sri Lanka. Anytime if Sri Lanka asks a loan, okay, I'll give you. These are the terms and conditions. Okay, steels ගන්න ඕනි. අපෙන් වෙන කොහෙන්වත් ගන්න බෑ. crude oil ගන්න ඕනි. අපෙන් වෙන කොහෙන් conditions දානවා. Conditions දාලා තමයි මේ loan එක දෙන්නේ. නේද? අර අපිට වෙන කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැ නේ ළමයි. ගන්න වෙනවා ඉතින් අර condition. මේ වගේ interest rates ගොඩක් වැඩි ළමයි. High rate of interest, and also strict conditions. These are called commercial loans. Are you okay with this? And there are two sources of foreign, or two types of foreign loans. Number one, concessionary loans, which are given at lower interest rate, and also lamai without much condition. Commercial loans are totally strict under the strict rules and regulations. Higher interest rates on. Are you okay with Nara, Sandil?
Yes.
Okay, good. Then Lamai, my next question, Lamai, tell me. Lamai, I told you that borrowings from banking sector is considered as inflationary sources or expansionary sources? As these sources increase money supply, tell me lamai, right? This is a good question lamai. Without borrowings from foreign sources, if our government takes loans from foreign sector, foreign government, won't it increase money supply? If Sri Lankan government borrows more funds from foreign sources, won't it increase Sri Lankan money? Does it affect money supply of our country? Sandeep, Punara? No. Right. Okay. That normally, yes, okay. Normally lamai, we are given loans by other country in rupees or dollars. I mean any other, I mean foreign currency. Foreign currency. Do they lend us in dollars or rupees? Dollars. Okay, the lamai. Then Buddha, the government receives, right? Government receives dollars or foreign currencies from other countries as loans. Then can Sri Lankan government use these dollars inside the country or to pay public debt, to pay public expenditures? Assume government wants to pay public, the government workers salary lama, but they don't have rupees lama, right? Then Central Bank or Sri Lankan government has to convert these dollars into rupees lama. Then what can you remember lamai? There are two sources of or two channels of releasing high powered money to the economy. Number one, acquiring domestic assets. What is other one? Acquiring foreign assets lamai. Foreign assets by the center. Acquiring foreign assets mean lamai. Central bank has to issue new coins and notes. Central bank has to new coins and notes, which equals to this dollar amount lamai, given as a loan. This is called another source of another channels of releasing high powered money. Are you okay with this lamai? Then Buddha, remember, even though we borrow funds from foreign sources, finally lamai, our money supply tends to increase. It's likely to increase lamai. Are you okay with this? Rara, Dipna, sorry, not Dipna, Sandeep.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so remember, bank markets or sorry, banking sources are really inflationary now. I කතා කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. මේක ආයි ගන්නම දෙයක් නැහැ ළමයි. මේක කොහොමත් expansion. I කියන්න දෙයක් නැහැ ළමයි. Central bank කියන high powered money. I directly high powered money printed and released to the economy. High powered money supply increase වෙනවා කියන ළමයි money supply increase වෙනවා by times of money multiplier. හරිද? මෙතනින් ගන්නවා කියන්නේ කොහොමත් අවුල් ළමයි. ඇයි ඒ? මෙතන central commercial banks වලට පුළුවන් ළමයි. They can create new deposits. And finally, money supply will increase. Foreign sources also lamai. This is the one source or one channels of releasing high power. Even though the government receives loans from other countries, finally our government has to convert these loans into rupees. Right? Then again, new coins and notes will right causing money supply to increase. Lamai again, it will end up with. Okay. Are you okay with this? You won't write it down. So remember, Lamai, foreign sources also, foreign loans also affect our money. Foreign loans also. Because these loans gets we get these loans in the forms of dollars. Then when converting these dollars into rupees, finally money supply. Let me know once you're done. Buddha, I'll give you a separate note on crowding out effect. Don't worry about that.
Done, sir.
Done. Uh, then Lama, what is next? Next one is economic consequences of borrowings from domestic. Now, shall we have a small note for crowding out as well? Put a star marker, write down crowding out effect. You know what it is. Crowding out effect mainly Buddha, it consists of two parts, two impact. Number one, rise in interest. Other one is reducing private sector, reducing loans available for private sector. Right? Put a star marker, write down. The crowding out effect, crowding, crowding out effect is an economic phenomenon and economic and economic phenomenon. Mean economic phenomenon in economic situation where increased government borrowings, increased government borrowings, increased government borrowing where increased government borrowings raises interest interest rates interest rates and reducing private sector investment private sector private sector investment because my private sector private sector does not have enough funds, lamai. They have lack of funds because the government borrows more funds from financial, where increased the government borrowings, raise interest rates and reduce in private sector, all crowding out effect, lamai. Next point, write down. Very difficult to type. Write down, lamai. By absorbing by absorbing available loanable funds, absorbing available loanable funds, loanable funds, lo- loanable funds, the government reduce private sector investment, private sector investment, mitigating, mitigating mitigating future economic growth, the economic so simple idea, lamai. Crowding out effect is not good for the future economic growth at all. Actually, it restricts or limits the future economic growth. Economic growth mean increase in real GDP. And real GDP is low, lamai. The income earned by economic units are low. Right? Then finally, Buddha, the entire economy will end up with poverty, lack of money, and also government won't be able to tax revenues. There's no economic growth because government, most of government tax revenue depends on economic growth. Economy is shrinking, lamai, right? Or if it does not grow well, government can't earn more taxes. Okay? Right, this is called crowding out. It out. Sandil, Mara,
No, sir.
then lamai, clear. We have to discuss that economic consequences of borrowing domestic sources. Actually, nothing to discuss. I'll explain. Okay, no. Uh, what are the consequences of borrowing from domestic sources? Number one, private sector. Uh, I mean, loans available or loanable funds available for private sector. Other one is the interest rate will rise. Okay. Then if government borrows funds from market sources end up with high rate of inflation. Okay, we'll discuss one by one. And next one, borrowing economic sorry, economic consequences of borrowings from domestic sources. No, it should be foreign source. Oh no, same thing. Borrowings from domestic and economic consequences. And lamai. Sources of budget financing in Sri Lanka according to 2020 annual report. What are the main sources that Sri Lankan government has used lamai? Okay, when they financing budget last year. Okay, we have to go right. I'll do that. Uh, within next I think 2 days, Lamai. I'll be yeah, I can complete the entire part. And next we have discussed that public fiscal policy and then public and Lamai. Then I'll be starting international trade, our last big chapter. Plus, okay, the Lamai and Lamai that starting lesson part told cover up that class. National, it's okay. That's the main one. We can cover up that. Then national. And Buddha, you will be given a paper as I told Wednesday. A full paper. Uh, please get ready for that. Okay, Lama, that's enough today. Thank you for coming. See you next day.
Thank you, sir. Goodbye, sir.
Goodbye. Okay, Sandil, bye.
Record.